Wow. They're going to be removing these rows here, so you'll have to grab a chair back here, okay? Thank you. You're in charge of my purse.
Okay. This is your purse.
Yeah. Now, if anybody, was there anyone that didn't get a sculpture that wanted to hold one? Would you like a necklace? They also have frequency. Feel free to grab a necklace over there. Feel free to do that because we're going to experience some things. And I want you all to understand why I make these and how they work through me, okay? This is going to be an exciting time. I also have some stories to tell you of people who have experienced the beings after having a sculpture. Now, mind you, I am not allowed to sell the sculptures. If there's something you really want to buy, you may buy it. But I am not here to sell these. And I'll tell you why I don't sell these sculptures. I don't talk anybody into buying a sculpture. When I make the sculptures, first of all, they know who's going to buy them. They need to get into the right hands. They identify with the right person. If you don't feel a connection, I say do not buy it. It's not going to serve you at all, okay? The other thing I tell people is you never want to buy a sculpture if you're afraid to have contact, okay? If you're afraid to have contact, don't ever buy a sculpture. Because when I was in Alamo, Nevada, doing a conference, a gentleman who had had contact and never was allowed to remember who he had had contact with decided he wanted to buy a mantis being. So he bought a mantis being, and lo and behold, a month later, he contacted me and said, I have been downloaded with visions of what's going to happen in the future. I've been given spiritual teachings to help me in my ascension. But one night, I woke up and there were 3 beings in my room. And he said, I didn't expect it. And so I told him, get out of here. I don't want you in here. And I said, oh, that's too bad. I'm really sorry to hear that. Next time they appear, this is all you have to do. Tell them, you can talk to me telepathically, but until I'm ready to see you and experience you, please just do it telepathically, okay? Let me tell you a little bit about me. Cynthia Crawford, I was born a twin. My mother, when I was born without an amniotic sac. My twin sister was born with an amniotic sac, but we had totally different blood types and tissue types. When we were 5 years old, my twin sister never learned to walk like a normal person. She walked on her tiptoes and fell a lot. And the doctors diagnosed her with muscular dystrophy. My father, by the way, was in the Army and worked on top secret missions no one was allowed to know about. Okay? I don't know if that gives you a clue where I'm going with this. Okay? This is what happened. The doctors took samples from me because they thought if they transplanted my muscle tissue in my twin's legs, she might walk again. They couldn't do the transplant. We were not matches, even though we were twins. It was as if we were never related. I did not find out until I was in my early 30s when my father came to me. And my mother and father were divorced when I was quite young. And my mother was a very, very devout Christian, and my father was an agnostic. And my father came to me and he said, have you ever wondered why you've always had contact with the beings? Have you ever wondered why you've had babies taken from you by the beings? Okay? Have you ever wondered why you're the only one in the family that's had communication? And I thought, where in the world did he get this information? I never told him about this, but he knew about it. I also, as a child, remembered being taken to underground facilities, government facilities, when I was a toddler. And I would cry because I didn't want to be there. And they would take me into underground facilities, and they would literally test me to see what abilities I had. And these were military doctors in underground facilities, many, many, many floors below the surface, secret facilities. But I was always told those were dreams. So I thought, oh, what horrible dreams. But my mother never knew where she was going to find me when I was a child, if I would be found outside, next to the door, inside sleeping on the floor, or in my bed. And as a teenager, I would sometimes wake up and I was outside. Didn't know how I got there. I also had times where I thought I was in bed, and the next thing I know, I am floating through the air up into a ship. I used to hate those dreams. Well, when my father, now when I'm in my 30s, and my father's telling me this, I finally said, why, Dad? Why have I had contact? Tell me. And he said, you are a hybrid. And I laughed. And I said, no, I can't be a hybrid, because that meant there was a reason why I never felt like I belonged here. What I also found out at the age of 22, when I had my son and had complications with him, the doctors could not give me blood transfusions, for I had an antigen in my blood that only 2 other people in the whole world had. Now let me tell you, if that doesn't make you feel a little bit weird, I don't know what does. Yeah. Do I? No, I don't know them. But I will tell you this. When I had my son at the age of 22, I remember waking up before, of course, and I woke up after being on a ship, and the ship had the ceiling, walls, floors, all seemed to be a luminous glow to them, and I was being told I was going to have a son. He would do great things in the future to help save the planet Earth. And I thought, whoa! I'm going to have a son, and he's going to be special. I was so excited, and I woke up in bed, and I'm telling my husband, he goes, you're not pregnant, no way. And I made a bet, and the bet was I would get a sewing machine. And by God, that sewing machine came in handy. I made my maternity clothes. Anyway, I've had numerous healings my whole life. When I was 18 years old, because I always had a hard time fitting in. I used to be a very depressed child and kept feeling this was not my home. And so I did a very stupid thing, and I'm sure you've heard of people like me. I decided to take an overdose of aspirins and end my life. I was tired of being on this planet, and it was really stupid, but I wanted relief. I wanted relief from the fear of being different, from the dreams of being in ships. I wanted help, and the way to get help was to die, right? I took an overdose of aspirins, and if anybody knows what happens when you drink or take a bottle of aspirins, it works like acid in your body, and it completely dissolved my vascular system. I was bleeding out of every opening in my body. My eyes, I literally went blind. My eyes were bleeding, and I literally got down on my hands and knees, crawled to the bed, lay down to die. I woke up the next morning healed, 100% healed. At the age of 29, I had real complications with my lungs. My lungs, I was constantly getting pneumonia, and never knew if I was going to go into a coma. Didn't know why